There are more than 1 million food animals in Arizona's livestock industry, but fewer than 3 dozen veterinarians to care for them. Dr. Gary Thrasher is one of a dying breed. For 45 years, he's practiced veterinary medicine on large food animals in rural Arizona, a job that today has all but vanished.
I get cattle from all over the state hauled in here to do procedures that they can't find any other veterinarian to do. And it's not that I'm any better than anybody else, it's just that there is nobody else.
Arizona is one of many states facing a shortage of food animal vets in rural areas.
We're one disease outbreak from real catastrophe. And practicing veterinarians are kind of at that front line.
Arizona's agriculture industry brings more than $17 billion into the state's economy. And according to Susan Gale, the acting state veterinarian, a disruption in this industry would affect nearly everyone in the state.
The concern I have is that food production has become kind of in the background activity. And a lot of folks take it for granted.
8 of Arizona's 15 counties have no USDA-accredited predominantly food animal veterinarians.
We as a society have come to expect and assume a wholesome, affordable, safe food chain, and veterinary medicine is a real tantamount part to that.
The Arizona Livestock Incident Response Team is meant to respond to livestock disease threats, but it takes a vet in the field to detect the problem.
When we go to USDA programs related to emerging animal diseases and that type of thing, they repeatedly tell us that it's not if it happens, it's when it happens.
So why aren't veterinarians working in these underserved and vulnerable rural communities? The
type of kids that would come back to a rural area like this are usually those that have been raised in a rural area. 90% of the people who are being accepted to veterinary school are not them.
Most of today's veterinary graduates are drowning in student loan debt and can't afford the lower pay associated with living in a rural area.
The trouble is, if you've got a $300,000 debt, you just can't afford to be paid less. You have to go where the highest paying jobs are.
An American Veterinary Medical Association study showed the average non-resident student debt was $187,000, with 20% of students reporting debt over $200,000. Their average starting salary, just $67,000.
If one of my daughters chose this path, I'd have to sit down and have a pretty frank discussion if we could make it work.
Yet what these areas really need is a new generation of veterinarians.
I can't last forever. Frankly, I can't get out of the way of these cattle as fast as I used to be able to, too.
Dr. Burgess is hopeful the University of Arizona's proposed veterinary school will help tackle these problems by cutting education costs in half and selecting students looking to return to these rural communities. For the investigative team, I'm Amanda Ames, Cronkite News.